Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 20, Twin Suns. Now, this, of course, is a very, very special episode that, honestly, I thought this was going to be the season finale. I didn't think they were going to do this as the episode leading up to the finale. I thought this was going to be in the season finale. I didn't think it would be the end of the season finale. I just thought it would be in the season finale, which is epically coming up this week, so I don't know what the heck to expect now that that's all I've been looking forward to like the whole season. I was like, alright, we got the Sabine stuff, and then the next giant thing was Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, and I'm like, I can't comprehend where we go next for the season finale, but this was a really, really good episode. It was a very special episode. Of course, we have two very epic characters, Obi-Wan being, probably, definitely one of the favorite characters of the franchise. He was in the original films. We got to see even more of his character from the prequels, and Darth Maul is just the character that was this super epic villain that sadly got killed off too early, and then they're like, you know what? He was too cool to let go, so let's bring him back in Clone Wars, and let's bring him back in Rebels, and he's just become a fan favorite. Honestly, he's my favorite villain out of all of Star Wars. Like, he's just such a cool character. He's got one of my favorite designs out of any creature in all, the entire Star Wars universe. He just looks really cool. And the story that they made for him in Clone Wars, of course he was kind of just here and there for Rebels, but in Clone Wars, they just gave him so much to do, and they just made him, an amazing character. He was just a cool villain character in Episode 1, and then they made him a truly great character for Clone Wars, and then leading into what he became for Rebels as an older version of himself. It was just really well done, and going into this episode, all I could think was, man, I don't recall the last time I've rooted for a villain so much and like wanted a villain to just live, forever, that sort of thing. But I think we all kind of knew how it was gonna end. Of course, Darth Maul just can't be there. Like, it's just not gonna happen. He goes up against Obi-Wan, and I just love the way the episode played out. Of course, it starts off. We do actually get the rest of the characters, because I was curious when the way the episode started. I was like, are we even going to see anybody else? Like, is this just going to be, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi? But Ezra does play a big part of it, and he's being manipulated by Maul to actually go to Tatooine. So that was cool. It was crazy. Like, this is the first time they finally went to Tatooine in this series. But he goes to Tatooine, and he believes that Obi-Wan is in danger, so he ends up taking off. He and Chopper, and I don't know how Chopper ended up in that ship, but he ends up in the ship, so they both go, and Ezra ends up kind of freaking out a little bit. Like, man, Chopper kind of shuts down because of all the sand and stuff, so he powers down, and Ezra just doesn't know what to do. Like, they're just stuck. And the cinematography was great for this episode, with it being just desert and stuff. It was just really well done. So I love the way they did the shots, and eventually he ends up being found by Obi-Wan, and that's where we get the end of this episode. And so, they're talking back and forth, and then Maul shows up, and it's like, this is kind of how things were, this isn't how things were supposed to go, but he manipulated you, and he kind of changed some things up. And that's where it got really intense. Of course, Obi-Wan sends Ezra and Chopper away, and they have their final battle. And it was cool. It was very tense. They have their conversation in the beginning of it, and it kind of calms down. They both take out their lightsabers, and it was a really quick battle. And at first, I was really shocked because it was only like maybe 4 strikes and then it was over. But then it made sense. Like, when I first watched, I was like, oh man, I was expecting like this really epic battle, and then when it happened and it was so poignant, I was like, that makes sense. It's one of those things with these two characters who have had this insane history, going from Obi-Wan killing Darth Maul by chopping him in half in Episode 1 to Clone Wars, where Darth Maul kills the woman that Obi-Wan Kenobi is falling in love with, and he takes over the Mandalorians, and he gets a brother, and all this other crazy crap. They fought so many times, and they've had such grand tales, that to come down to this battle and for it to be so succinct made a lot of sense after after it happened, because it was very and I actually did a reaction for this, which I'll have that out in a couple of days, but I mentioned in that it was very Western as well as samurai, and those are like the two big inspirations for Star Wars in general. You have like the Western side of it, and then you have the samurai side, which is kind of the lightsaber element, is definitely the samurai side of it. And this was very Western in the beginning as they were staring each other down, kind of basically waiting to draw. And then when they got to it, it was very samurai-esque, where it was almost the end of a great samurai battle where they do kind of like the big slash where both people strike at the same time, but only one person falls. And it was kind of like that. And it just worked. And I was like, as much as I was expecting this grand battle and stuff, when it happened, I was just like, you know what? This makes sense for these two characters who have battled for so long and have done so many crazy things. And also, Obi-Wan is just, he's like way up here. It just makes sense. And it was just really well done, and I loved it. And it got really tense, and they had quite a few references, I believe, to the original trilogy. One of which I felt was a reference to Return of the Jedi, and it was when Darth Maul was talking to Kenobi, and he's like, why would you come here? It wasn't just to hide away; it's to protect something. And he was like, or someone, and he was getting closer to the truth about Luke. And it reminded me of Return of the Jedi, where Vader realized that Luke actually had Leia as a sister, and he's like, oh, well, Luke, you don't want to join the dark side, so maybe I'll get your sister to do it. And it made me think of that. And I just thought that was really cool. And of course, after everything's said and done, Obi-Wan ends up going to Luke's house. And they even play audio. That was audio straight from the first film. And I was like, that's just really cool. Like, we see the house, and we see, like, the setting suns and everything. Or, I guess it was the rising suns, actually. And it was just a really great ending, and they just played the original theme, and I was just like, that was a phenomenal episode. And it sucks to see Darth Maul go, but that's kind of what we were all expecting. So it was sad to see him go, but it was an amazingly done episode. And I feel like there's not too much to talk about. I feel like there was so much visually done with this episode. There's not too much extra to talk about. It was meant to be, just a great build up to this final encounter between two really great characters, and it just sucks to see Darth Maul go. But there are comics out there. There was supposed to be that really awesome game we were supposed to get, and sadly that got canceled. But it was a really good character. We've seen some epic stuff with him since they decided to bring him back in Clone Wars. He did some epic stuff in this as well, in the season 2 finale. So it was just really good. It was a great way to end it. I heard that he was actually supposed to die in the season 2 finale. That Darth Vader was actually supposed to kill Darth Maul, and I was so happy that they changed that, because no one should kill Darth Maul except for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, that's the only way it should have ever been, and I'm glad that they decided to change that up. But it was a really great ending to a really great episode. Very poignant, and they just let the whole theme play at the end when the episode goes off. It's just the theme, and there are no hints or anything like that. We don't get a trailer or anything for the next episode, since we got like the full credits ending. But I'm really looking forward to what we're gonna get. I know there's some clips out there, but I don't really want to see anything. I will be doing a reaction for the season finale as well, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. But this was a really good episode, and it's crazy. I don't think I've ever felt so sad about a villain dying before. It was just like, I just really like Darth Maul. He was just such a cool character. Plus, double-sided lightsaber was the coolest thing in the world when I first saw that. And it still is one of the coolest things in the world. But man, it's just crazy. Like, he is a character that died so early, and he almost kind of had a Boba Fett sort of deal. He didn't really do much when you think about it. I mean, technically he definitely did more than Boba Fett did in the original series, where he's had like, I don't know, 3 lines and then he dies in Jedi. But Darth Maul fought, and it was like he got chopped in half. That dude is gone. And then years later, when they make, man, it was a super long time when I really think about it. I mean, all 3 of the films had already come out. All the prequel films were already done before Clone Wars ended up being created. And that's when they decide, let's bring in Darth Maul again. Let's say he didn't actually die, and give him some robot legs, make him crazy, and then build him up from there. And it's like, he became unbelievably epic after that. And he was still one of my favorites, even though it was just from episode 1. It was like, he's still really awesome. Like, I just love that character. But it's crazy to see him go, but it was a great way to do it. Very samurai-like, so of course I appreciate that more than some other people might. But knowing the inspirations that affected George Lucas to even create Star Wars, it shows in this, even though he wasn't involved in this specific moment. It just shows, like, they kind of went back to that stuff, like Akira Kurosawa and Seven Samurai and things like that, and it was just amazing. It was just a very well done scene, and I just love the way they did it. A great ending, like I said, seeing Obi-Wan go to Luke's home, and we get the dialogue, and we see like a tiny little figure, silhouette of Luke kind of running to the house. So it was just great. I really enjoyed it. It was a really phenomenal episode leading into the season finale, which should be pretty intense. And it's hard to say. I mean, considering everything that's happened, Callus, he's busted and he doesn't know it. I'm pretty sure they're super close to finding the actual Rebel base. I don't know if Thrawn's going to find it in the season finale or what the deal is, but there's going to be something there, and I think things are going to get really intense. I think he might find the base in the season finale, and it gets kind of chaotic. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, but I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens next week, but I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and of course, I want to know how you guys felt about those final moments between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul. Do you think it was good? Were you satisfied with the way they did it? Were you disappointed? Because I'm sure a lot of people were disappointed that it wasn't this grand epic battle between these two characters. And at first I was. For honestly, it was like 1 second long. I was like, oh, that's it. And then right after I was like, no, this works. And like it literally took like a second for me to switch and be like, you know what, this actually works for these characters. It actually makes a lot of sense. So for me, it took like it took 1 second, and I was just like, nope, I'm okay with it. I get it now. So I would love to know if that's how you guys feel. Kind of leaving the episode and thinking back on it. Do you feel that it was better to have like such a flash type of battle where it's just a poignant ending to these characters, or would you have preferred just a grand epic battle and then it ends? I still would have loved it. I think there's definitely no argument there that it would have been great either way, but for it to end this way, I know some people won't be able to enjoy it at all. But for me, it's like, as much as I would have loved a crazy battle and stuff, and have seen Obi-Wan, older, Obi-Wan, who sounded, I'm pretty sure it was the voice actor from Clone Wars, I'm not 100% sure, but whoever did the voice, they did a great job, because the dude who used to do it in Clone Wars sounded exactly like Ewan McGregor to me when that show first started, and he still kind of sounds a lot like him. And then whoever did the voice in this episode, I was like, he sounds just like the dude from the original film. And I was just like, wow. And I want to say the guy's name is Ian McGinnis. That could be totally wrong, but I feel like that's what it is. I was just like, man, they sound so similar to the original actors that played them in the films. It's just crazy. I was like, I don't know if it's the same dude or not, but if it is, that guy can just sound like anyone who plays Obi-Wan, apparently. But whoever did the voice, I thought did a great job. And I thought it was a phenomenal way to end such a crazy history between these two characters. But, of course, would love to know how you guys felt about Darth Maul's ending. And, of course, I want to know what you guys thought about the episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.